Are you ready for a little down and dirty double dealing? EarthRise Double Dealer, today on Guerrilla Reviews. Yes, the double agent without the identity crisis, Double Dealer, is back in a modern line. And not just as a repaint of Blitzwing. It is as you remember him, even with the interesting split cockpit going sideways. There are a couple of adjustments which we'll get into in a little bit to make it a little more modernized and a bit less risque in certain parts, but we'll cover that. Now, according to the instructions, you place his accessories. Ironic enough, it only claims this to be the accessories, but that's not quite right. Anyway, you put his antenna radar thing there, you put the gun there. Now here's the weird part. The way I like to do it is I like to put it this way so it's just kind of flush against everything. Because that way it doesn't stick out nearly as much. But the way they recommend you do it is you fold it like this. Let me show you like another problem I should have mentioned right away is that this likes to come apart because it's kind of installed backwards. Just kind of have to live with that. But it is something to keep in mind. Anyway, fold up this, and then you just kind of plug it into there, like so. But again, that really sticks out pretty far. That's which is why I don't like to do that. Anyway, disconnect the missile. This part goes here. This part goes in his hand. That's for the official way. You can have it any way you wish, if that excites you. Okay, due to the way that this figure operates, we're going to have to do things a little differently here and start with the articulation on the robot mode. Anyway, you have head on a ball joint there, so you do get some articulation there. Shoulders are on a mushroom swivel and hinge joint there, mushroom swivel for the bicep, and a double joint for the elbow, along with a wrist rotation, which is good because he kind of comes pretty gorilla armed when he's right in the package, which I know concerns a lot of people. Okay, move these out of the way. I have these. You can't have these up, but you're not noticing it. You can just have it that way if you're. Or fold them both up if you want. Anyway, waist rotation. This type of assembly for the hips. Really should figure out what the name is. So here now, due to the transformation, it's at least in this mode, the knee is a little limited, but it does at least have something going on there, and a very decent ankle pivot. So, when it comes to action poses, you'll definitely get there, which is a good thing. And if you probably noticed earlier, if you want to have him go from Autobot to Decepticon, you just flip this little assembly over on either shoulder. Again, you could do it in, well, this is the only mode where it's actually pertinent, but you can have them either way in either mode. And there we go, Decepticon. Yippee skippy. Okay, so just to prove a point here, to show how they should go, fold this out, fold this back, like that, to have it a bit more flush. Granted, you do have to have these out in the tank mode, but we'll get to our Cbm carrier mode, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Alrighty, since we already have him in Decepticon, let's get him into the bird mode here. Fold these outward. Fold out this part for the Boyd feet. And you kind of have to angle the arms so that the forearm so that this goes into that tab. There's a nice slot that they go into fairly easily. It's just a little blind at times. Okay, you're able to see that because you're going to be able to see it anyway. Okay. Okay, and then you obviously fold up the fists this way. Then fold out this part of the feet. You can turn it around. Yeah, the retraction doesn't assume that this part is already up, so fold up this part. Actually fold up these parts of the wings. Twist this around so that what will be the cockpit and the ICBM carrier goes like that. Actually, you don't want to make those just yet. I'm going to come back to here. Then you turn these 90 degrees that way. Now these little tabs go up in here. Takes a little bit of fiddling to get to work right, but it is important to get those that way. Otherwise, you're not going to have everything flushing together. It's a little strange, but that's kind of how it goes. Yeah. Then you just kind of tuck all this down in here. So, if we did it right, almost have. See like that. That's how they're supposed to be in the bird mode. Then you can just. Well, you should just be able to get all that together and then connect these two tabs into the torso. It's a little tight, but you can get there. Okay, good. Hidden mode? Maybe. Anyway. Come back here. Okay, after everything's all connected and tight, you bring out the wings, like so. Very nice wingspan there. Come up to here, bring up this part of the cockpit, bring down the chest piece, and clip that in. Now this part is removable. Be very careful of that. It is a nice homage to the engine, to the Power Master gimmick, but it is easy to lose if you're not paying attention. Anyway, pull this back, bring up this panel, bring around, bring. There are some weird clearance issues with this figure, I swear. Okay, then you connect that to that. Okay. Now then, bring the head around this way, because then it'll actually be centered. It's actually off center, so you have to bring it up that way. A little weird, but that's what they did. For whatever reason. Okay. Then we bring all this down here. And put all that down, like so. Now the weird thing is that this part that becomes his tail feathers don't actually connect to him directly. You actually have to connect it with the missile. Which I'm going to get to right now. We will reconnect these two parts here and attach this to that, like so. And you notice how it attaches to the top of the bird this time, not the bottom. Apparently Hasbro got that memo. So that's something. Okay, let's see now. Come on now. Okay. Maybe. Nope. Let's see. And it goes like that. Okay, let's see. Okay, there we go. That's the business. Obviously, it can take a little bit of fiddling to get those missiles to that missile to fit right. And then you bring these struts down here. Connect the missile pods to the side. And down here, you connect the radar and the gun. You could have it here if you're so inclined. I wouldn't recommend it because they're trying to get away from the phallic imagery. Gonna do that regardless, but hey. Anyway, there we go. The bird mount. Okay, bring out the head here, and here we do have a very nice And a slightly more cohesive bird mode. A little weird, but that was G1 for you. A little bit, quite a bit of junk on the trunk there, but got a bit of junk everywhere. But again, like G1, not much you can do about it. It does at least give you the good impression that this thing is a very large mechanical bird. Now I mentioned earlier in my Pounce and Wingspan review about Wingspan being the Chad version of Laserbeak. Yeah, I think I may need to retract that statement. Okay, getting onto the ICBM carrier, we'll flip him back into the Autobot mode. And a lot of these steps are going to seem real familiar. So now, anyway, we'll start by folding out these bits and connecting immediately. Then we bring this around. Yes, this does seem very familiar, doesn't it? But then, without fiddling with those parts there, we just connect it to that. And they actually connect to point to these parts on the hips here. Granted, it does usually help if you come on. Well, I guess one advantage, disadvantage to not having a proper editor is that you do at least get a real world experience of what it's like to try and get these things like that in. Okay. And then we come around here, just twist and bring around like so. There are little tabs that'll keep it in place. Again, be very careful with the homage there. And again, we fold in the hands. Twist around and fold in, tab into place. And bring forward, rather bring up, like so. Come up to here, bring that up, and fold this around. I should just kind of leave that up there. Attach missile. Oh, yeah, attach missile like so, bring down. Bring the, what is the tail feathers before. And connect to these two ports right here via the pegs. That'll hide the head as best as you can anyway. Anyway, we bring these, well, hang them back on and put them back up. Now, this is why it was important to fold in these wing tabs. Because now, when you do that, it goes flush. Simple. Okay. Anyway, attach the missiles however you please. So, you can also attach the radar and the gun however you please. See here then, if we do that and that. And there we are, the ICBM launcher. Okay, one part I probably should mention, bring these parts back down. You're not supposed to fold the whole thing up. And there we go, they tab in just fine. Now we have the Cbm launcher. Alright, now I should mention there is a base mode to this. I'm just going to show this to you real quick so you can all point and laugh. Pulling down these struts here, bring up the missile, bring up the missile, unfold down the tail feather, bit down, base mode. Yeah. But if that excites you, there you go. Now I got very lucky and found this at a retail establishment. So you are going to be paying the leader price point for it, but at least it's available. When this whole COVID started and he started showing up on listings, just sort of evaporated, and then the price skyrocketed. So at least, having this figure available at all, let alone in my hands, is something of a miracle. But definitely worth it. If you ever wanted one, or you were curious, if you find them available, which can be a little bit tricky, definitely worth it. You're never gonna. Either you could try and find the original G1, which can go for ridiculous prices as well. Anyway, I am Deceptiwolf. This has been Double Dealer from the EarthRise line. And again, I remind you all, free your mind, free your toys.